I used to work on the human rights committees at Fairview. And so there was a time where people who are living in our community now were basically locked up in an institution in Salem. And I was part of the human rights committees where we reviewed the plans and and it was under a human rights lawsuit to say, that these people are being mistreated. And for me, when I see people that used to be there who are now in our community and they're just sitting waiting for the bus, or they're going to a job that someone else would take for granted, and I just think, for that person, operating with the level of skills that they have, they've really accomplished a lot more than many of us who look like we're more accomplished, but we're really not. So. There's a network of support for people with developmental disabilities that encompasses all aspects of community life and all aspects of an individual's life. We have lots of agencies, individuals, families, community partners, just good-hearted people, all working together to provide supports that people need. So, and that range of supports could be all aspects of someone's life. Sometimes it's just finding people with similar interests. Sometimes it's finding an appropriate living situation or a good job fit, or the mental health support that someone needs to get through a difficult period, or connecting up with social activities so that they have their friends and their support network and somebody's watching out for them regardless of where they're at.
1, 2, back step, 1, 2, back step, and then you go woo, like that.
Well, there's a wide range of living options. Probably our fastest growing area is foster homes. And those would be private individuals who open homes to serve people with developmental disabilities and meet their needs in a family-like setting.
See what I'm doing? I'm just cutting, touching it up. You did a very nice job. 5 years ago, I decided to do adult foster home, and I love doing it. I really do.
With supported living, instead of the individual going to a home to receive care, the caregiver goes to their home to provide the care.
That's fine, but if you want, you can just write rent.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That would be fine.
Another option would be the group homes, which is a higher level of care. It may be a specialized home around medical needs or a specialized home around behavioral needs. Or we also have generalized group homes that would serve just the general population.
All right, Fish is coming to get me.
Work is important for lots of reasons. People like to bring home a paycheck and they like to be able to support themselves. They also like to have meaningful activity and contribute to their community and feel like that their talents and skills are valued.
I do like to work here.
I mean, there are hundreds of people with developmental disabilities working in communities. Even in our small community, there are hundreds of jobs being provided by the funding for supporting people with developmental disabilities.
And dry them off. They're repressed.
So not only are people with developmental disabilities contributing to the local economy and working, but also there's a lot of jobs being created for the caregivers who are providing supports for people with developmental disabilities in our community.
I thought I was going to be able to keep him at home with me until he was 21, but his behaviors were too aggressive, and I couldn't deal with them anymore.
It became sort of difficult to care for her, lifting her in and out of her chair. I almost dropped her one time because I was by myself.
I'm 65 years old. When I'm gone, who's going to look after Cindy?
I really couldn't do it. I couldn't do everything anymore. I needed some help.
Well, one of the main services we provide is services coordination or case management, and that's to identify, access, coordinate, and even create services for people with developmental disabilities. It's hooking up people with local services and resources that are appropriate to their needs that they qualify for, and it could be almost anything. When a child comes into service with us, they are part of our family support program. We have no wait lists. Everybody receives something. It could be some respite. It could be some unmet medical need. It could be a specialized camp or some training for the parents. We're working with the family to make sure that the child gets whatever they need, and to support the child, we need to support the family. In terms of transportation, many people take the city bus, and that works just fine for them. For folks who need additional support and for whatever reason are unable to use public transportation, there's also specialized transportation for people with disabilities.
1, 2, 3, life skills!
We also provide skills building classes, mostly for adults, kind of continuing education to learn about stress management or nutrition or exercise or healthy relationships or anything that can help them be safer and healthier in the community. We provide specialized mental health services for people with developmental disabilities, and that could be anything from individual counseling, couples counseling, group therapy. We have augmentative communication devices for people with communication disorders or people who may be mostly or partially nonverbal. They can still participate in counseling and receive mental health services by providing augmentative communication supports.
And they were looking at some of the electrical wiring and saying that it's a little bit outdated, and like we looked under here and there was...
Our motto is do the right thing and do it right. So what the quality assurance does is supports all other programs. It also encompasses kind of all the administrative tasks that aren't direct client services. It could be protective services investigations, abuse investigations, licensing of foster homes, any kind of support for the services we provide.
We had fun at the picnic. Oh boy.
It may look like we're just out there having fun, but it's actually really important because what we see is that people who are socially isolated have much higher rates of problems with mental health and physical health, depression, anxiety, obesity. So even though we do some activities that look like it's just fun, we're actually trying to help the health and well-being of those individuals by connecting them to the community. Helping, part of our skill building is to help people have communication skills. A lot of people come and what they want is a friend. And though we can't necessarily give them a friend, we can give them lots of opportunities to meet friends, and we can give them the skills they need to build friendships. And that's what we try to do.
All right.
Everybody ready?
Ready?
1, 2, 3. It's a wrap!
Where's that at? Yes. About, yep.
Huh?
You enjoyed this? She loves
You went a little bit here. You can go in some of these spaces too if you want to.
it.